And good evening and welcome to LiftFM 98.5 and 97.9 on your FM radio dial. And of course, we're worldwide at liftfm.com. Reminder that all of our programs here on Second Chances are available online. We keep an archive, and you can just go to the following website, www.advantageradioministries.org. Click on Second Chances, and then from there you can go and see the complete list of all these programs we have, all of which people come on, they share their testimony, talk about all the neat and exciting things that God has done. And we have just another one of those people with us tonight. His name is Don Furr, and Don, we'd like to thank you for joining us here at Second Chances.
Well, thank you, Greg. I appreciate the opportunity.
Now, Don, before we get into anything else, why don't you give me a little bit of background of who you are and what kind of home you come from and, things like that so we can understand who you are a little bit.
Okay, well, I have been told that I have a southern accent. I don't hear it or see it, but apparently it's true. I'm a Tennessee boy, been in the Memphis area for all of my life, 55 years. I've lived in Memphis, went to school here, and married my sweetheart. We've been married 25 years, and it's been a good thing. I've enjoyed living here. I have 3 children, 3 grandchildren, and another grandchild on the way. So life is good, too.
Now, how long has your book, Quest for the Nail Prince, been out?
Well, it actually, I self-published the book back last year. I wanted to do my own market and just to see what the book would do. I felt like the way I was going to do it was to get the book out there, get it in a few bookstores, and just to see what the book would do. Then I would turn around and I would take it to some of the larger publishers. I'm just 200 miles from Nashville, and a lot of the large publishers there are in Nashville. So I decided to do that and to take the book and put it in Christian stores as well as secular stores, and just to see what it would do. And over a 4-month period, it did amazingly well, so much so that I used it in my marketing campaign when I went to publishers, and it was amazing. To this day, it's still amazing. I remember one particular Christian bookstore. He said, "Brother, you're in the top 25 in my entire store." He said, "Your book sells."
Wow.
It is so unique. And let me tell you, I don't know if you know much about the book, but probably one of the most interesting things about the book is there's a hole pierced all the way through the book, from front to back. It is just off of center. It's a 3/8 diameter hole. And once the book is printed, it is taken to a drill press, and a hole is punched all the way through the book. So it actually, and then I took it from there, and I've made a wooden cross display. That's what my company does as well. We do point of purchase, POP, and I have a wood display, and it holds 10 penny nails, and it holds them at certain points and on the wood. And the book actually hangs on this cross display. And this particular cross display will hold 14 books at a time. And they put it in the front of the store, and they don't have to say anything. People walk in, and they have to take the book off of the nails. It just amazes me. I've had people come in, and this was my own marketing myself.
Wow.
We had people come in. The bookstore called me one day. He said, a lady just came in and she bought all the books off of the cross, Don. She said, "I've never seen anything like this." And she took every one of the books and she flew home to Los Angeles. And I haven't heard anything back from them, but she was so intrigued by that. And so that's really been a big point to be able a big crowd. What I call it, that's my draw to the book, to be able to have it to where it's hanging by. It'll actually hang by the hole, and the book actually I've done all the work in it and studied as far as how the book needs to hang and whatnot. And at this particular space where the book hangs, it hangs 22 degrees to the right. It tilts 22 degrees to the right. It naturally hangs there. So you can actually, if you've got a nail hanging on the wall, you can take this book and it'll sit right on there, and you can hang it on it. So it's a great conversation piece. And
now,
yeah.
obviously, Don, the fact that the book has the hole in it, it's hanging on the cross, obviously instantly draws people to that book. Was that something when you set out and wrote this book that you knew that once you got it published and put it in bookstores you had to do?
Did I know that
you wanted to actually put a hole in the book and hang it?
That actually came within about within the first 6 months. It just dawned on me one day. I knew where I wanted the story to go, and I'm a time travel fanatic. So time travel is such a fascinating thing to me. Of course, Back to the Future movies and all of those things, which, by the way, was my wife and mine first date, was to see Back to the Future. And,
how about that?
Yeah, and this is the 25th. Well, actually, last year was the 25th year for Back to the Future, and not to go into detail with that, but I actually have a DeLorean that I've laid out, and it's just like the car and all of that. So I actually use that and that type of thing as well. But no, I didn't. I didn't start out like that, but it came on very quickly. I knew the part that I wanted the nails to play in the story, and I tried to figure out a way that people would see the nails and what the nails would do, how they would impact the book, and just the idea that there's a hole through every single page. It says something to me. It talks to me. And I wanted to talk to the people that Christ touches every page of our lives, every single page. We just have to look for Him, and that's sort of the analogy, the picture that I'm trying to bring across.
Give us a little summary of the book.
Well, the book is the book started out actually as three men that meet on an airplane. Of course, the book starts out with the background and starts out with a doctor, and the doctor is a flight surgeon on a medical flight, and so I was able to write about a helicopter pilot and all of those things, which it just came very natural to me to do that. That introduces the doctor, and then there's a professor, and then there's a pastor. So it's actually three people. It was three men. The book originally started off three men in time, and it's funny how over the course of 13 years how the story has changed, and I thought that I had it right and everything was down right until I got with my publisher, Joan Schaup. She is with Sheaf House Publishers out of Charlotte, Tennessee. Well, after we started talking and got into some heavy negotiations, she looked me right in the face and she says, "Don, one of these main characters has to be a woman." And I was like, oh my goodness. So after we consummated the deal, I went home and I began to change one of my main characters into a woman character, and it was absolutely phenomenal. It made the book so much better. I was just amazed. It took me a month to rewrite to do it the way it should be, and of course I had to. There were a lot of things that changed. It's one thing for three men. They were traveling overseas. They were on a flight, and through a series of events, they end up standing out on the street, literally standing out on the street as Jesus rides in on the donkey during Passion Week, during Palm Sunday. They are literally standing on the street. Well, that's sort of the book and how the book starts out, and I don't want to share a whole lot more about it, but the dynamic sort of changed when now all of a sudden there are two men standing out there with a woman, and we had to change a lot of things. The dynamic, we had situations where, they're there for the entire Passion Week all the way up to, obviously the crucifixion happens on that Friday. So we had to work out sleeping arrangements and interaction. Had to do a lot of study on exactly how that happened historically. But man, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And Bill Stewart is now Elizabeth Stewart. So she stayed a doctor, and it's just worked so well. I'm so pleased with how it worked. And I actually pull out the book and I read it every few weeks. Again, I'm just blown away by the story myself. And it's been great.
Now, Don, do you have any aspirations of writing another book?
Well, actually, I do. The story leaves you hanging, and from there, yes, I'm already into the 4th chapter of the sequel. So,
any timetable to get the sequel out?
Well, let's see. I was at 14 years total time, 14 years on the last book, and my publisher says I've got 13 months to do the next one. So, but it's so much easier to do now, and of course I'm trying to market and do these types of things with this book. So this takes a lot of my time. But when I'm not doing that, I'm trying to write and start with the sequel. But the sequel starts out right where this book ends. And a lot of times you don't see that in sequels, but this is exactly where this one ends, the sequel starts. And it's so much fun because I hated to end the book. I hated it. I wanted to continue on, and now I'm able to do that. So it's wonderful.
Do you have a working title for the sequel?
Yes, I do. It's called Peter's Quest. So this was Quest for the Nail Prince is the title of the book. And the sequel is called Peter's Quest.
Have you been giving any thought to clever marketing tools such as the hole in the last book?
Yes, I have. And I haven't come up with anything definitive yet, but I'm working on a few different ideas. I've shared with my publisher, and she wants me to keep that, mum's the word, she said right now.
Understand.
Yeah, so... working on it.
Okay. Final thing we want to touch on, Don. If someone would like to obtain a copy of the book Quest for the Nail Prince, how does one go about getting that book?
My website is called questforthenailprince.com. If you go to questforthenailprince.com, it'll give you all the information that you need about the book, and you can also order directly from my website, and it will tie you directly to either Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com, or ChristianBook.com. Any of those three carry the book.
Our guest has been Don Furr, author of the book Quest for the Nail Prince, available by going to the website questforthenailprince.com. There it'll tell you specifically how to get the book via Amazon as of March the 1st. And Don, we'd like to thank you for being a guest tonight on Second Chances.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. I look forward to talking to you soon.
Same here. Our guest once again, Don Furr, here on Second Chances at LiftFM 98.5 and 97.9 on your FM radio dial.